As far as I remember, I haven't called your names in the classroom. Perhaps today we should at least call your name once. Okay. 林雨晴，哪里人？陈欣恩，哪里人？黄宝轩，欧中哪里人？林伟。 林月汉。Oh, this is not the actual list. I should go to another list. Maybe I think. Okay. Yes, it is the same. So, they are not here. They are not. They didn't have quit, but they are not here. Okay. Okay. Lin Yue Han, also is not here. 黄耀明。 徐胜杰，董家伟，王木熙，潘冠宇，苏雨慈。 陈怡娜，赖定阳，陈怡香 have a mistake. 陈怡香 not here. 赖定阳 here. 赖定阳。 潘凡婷 here. Okay. 黄子瑜 not here. 陈义林 因此为杨荣军 ，OK， 林玉茹， 吴佩荣、林佩仪、刘庆慧、王一边、王书、许冠成、Okay. Now, newly come later, and we have the we have agenda 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 already presented, and today is the 5th. This is our festival of the university, and this is today. Yeah. Today is the 16th week. Today we have all the other 5. How did I tell you? Today is for agenda 5 and 6 and 7, or 7 for next week. I remember there are 2 groups. They want to present their idea about multiculturalism, and this one and this one, of course. And which of you haven't and will not have present your report? Did I tell you next week or today?
Next week.
Next week. Okay. Then today we have 2 groups. Okay. Then we have enough time. Today we have 2 groups about the same issue. The social and itself, this concept itself already topic for a course. I have once give the lecture multiculturalism education in 2008, 2007, already 6.5 years ago. I give this lecture to the Leicester class of the Department of the Social Education, the Leicester class. And we have discussed all the dimensions of multiculturalism. What does it mean? What does it apply in various countries? What is the problem and the problematic and the disputes? possible. And the particularities such as globalization and nation state and ethnic group, etc. Okay. So when it is a course itself, not just our one agenda, but itself is a course, it must be, what it must be discussed include what it is and from all the dimensions to define what multiculturalism is and how is it applied in various countries. For example, Canada and France are the most discussed examples. And also America, South Africa, and so on. And of course, the application, the practice in Taiwan must be included. And what's the problems and problematics and the disputes? Problem and problematic are different concepts. When we talk about problems, we say, okay, there are many kinds of social problems. Social problems are not social issues. You have the course in this institute, social issues, agendas, and so on. But social problems is a negative expression, something bad, something not welcome, something we would like to correct it, something we would like to wipe it out. For example, criminality. We don't want, and also bribery and so on. Okay, that's social problem. And around the concept multiculturalism, there are many problems. And this concept itself aims to solve some of these problems. For example, the problem of integration. How should a newcomer live in the new country? How should he or she live in a new country. Something must be adjusted, something must be learned, something must be So there are many kinds of problems. And multiculturalism, the concept, indicates that we should not try to regulate all the newcomers, all the migrants do the same thing as those who already live there for generations. The newcomer, their lifestyles should be respected, and so on and so on. Okay, the concept is itself one possible suggestion to the surrounding problems. And problematic is the academic concept. We try to ask the right questions, the fundamental questions to the problems, to the social feminines. So how should we raise our questions? It's problematic. And around the concept, around all the applications, there are many disputes. Is it testable, practicable, doable? It is always good and valuable, or is there side effects? So all the disputes and the contextualities around multiculturalism. Why are France and Canada the most discussed example of the world? Because they have a special context in their national history. So the other country, they have their own context. But globalization is the context we all share. We all live in the age of globalization. So globalization is the global context of us all. And the nation states, each nation state has her own history of nation building. So during the long-term process of nation building, she has her special problems around ethnic group. So concerning specific ethnic group, there are many different contexts to discuss multiculturalism. When you say, okay, the concept is very good moment, what do you mean it is good? What's your context? Maybe if you change your context, you must be careful to talk about the concept itself. So today, we are not going to enter the course, multiculturalism itself as a course, as a lecture. But if it is part of a lecture, then, for example, next semester, we have migration and identity. So in the course, migration and identity next semester, certainly multiculturalism must be discussed. And the whole context is migration and identity. So if you are interested in the context, migration and identity, and you are interested in the concept multicultural. You are welcome to the lecture next semester, not now. And for our course, education and social development. So today we are discuss multiculturalism this way. Not this way, not this way, but this way. So we are not going to deal with all the dimensions around of multiculturalism. We are going to focus on the issue multiculturalism in education and social development. Okay. And so now, multiculturalism in education and social development. Okay, let us begin our today's presentation. Which of you want to present at first? You? No, you? Agree? Okay, please.
Our topic is bringing the multiculturalism into classroom. This is our agenda. Okay. My part is to find a definition of multiculturalism. There are two concepts including multiculturalism, which are multi and culture. Okay. Multi leads to a distinct difference to display the values of voice and system of values. Culture can be delimited, a plan for one group to survive and adapt. Different cultures with different systems, and they are precedents. Everyone are multicultural subject. They have various kinds of cultural identity. Franks and Maggi, yummy. Frank said, multiculturalism is a kind of philosophy, position, and activity to prove gender, prove ethnicity, and cultural variation should react all kinds of education systems, including members, standard, courses, and students. This is my part, so possible, I think.
And my part is to find a question about the topic we choose. We have some questions to understand. And number one is whether multiculturalism has existed some days, but it is still discriminated nowadays. And my name is okay. And number two is if we want to make a question below, and then if we have to change from the foundation, that we have to make the teacher teach the student that they feel they have something attractive and they want to learn. That is the
是白是就是We divided our project into 3 parts, and my job is to find out the ways or examples to solve the problems through the internet, some experts, articles, etc. At the same time, it is also my job to make the conclusion of our project.
There are many ways to bring multicultural into class, but it is hard to teach students to learn about an unfamiliar culture which may be totally different from theirs. As everyone knows, we should esteem each culture, and the first step is to realize. Therefore, teachers play important roles in this system, so we think it is an issue which needed to be paid attention. Our report progress now is come to information finding and arranging. Before that, we had a group discussing to identify our project.
Okay. Very good. And please go to the next second PowerPoint. Next second. First question here, multiculturalism. Multicultural. Your agenda is multiculturalism, but here is multicultural. Multi or multi, it's all the same. And I think my suggestion is that you will discuss the importance of teaching cultures. But teaching cultures is just a part of the application around multiculturalism. It is not just about teaching various cultures. It is implied to define how the culture works. For example, there are two metaphors. One is the so-called melting pot. Has anyone of you knows what melting pot means? Right. And now another salad bowl. Has anyone heard of it? Yes. Okay. Some of you have heard of it. What's the difference?
Melting pot. They are mixed and being the one again.
Very good.
Therefore, makes many things, but they didn't become the one.
Very good, very good. I have already promised that before 2 weeks ago that I do not want to give you pressure to ask you questions and to ask you to answer it immediately. So it is not about your project, but about the two concepts. And each one of you, when you are able to express it, I will be very, very happy. Okay, and you don't need to worry about the problem of English grammar. That's already very understandable. What she just said. Melting pot means that you would be melted. You know, melted. Okay. Have you ever seen the very old movie played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, and the robot melted. Okay, melted. You and your specific character does not exist anymore. You are only part of the new melted substance. You are melted. You are going to be melted in the melting pot. But salad bowl, we in Europe, we used to prepare a very large salad bowl, so large. And we put paprika and Romano salad and other tomato and all kind of water and all kind of good vegetables in it, and we mix it. And as we mix it, you can identify this is paprika, this is tomato. Tomato would not be melted. Paprika would not be melted. You can identify each item of the salad. They have their specific character as before. But together, they give us a new flavor. The salad, the new flavor. Okay. So multiculturalism always use the metaphor, salad bowl. We are not separated. Okay, I give you my respect. You give me your respect. And mind your own business. And I would not bother you, and you don't bother me. And we are separated. We have nothing in common. We have nothing to do with each other. That is not multiculturalism. Multiculturalism means we are living together in one society, but with our own specific character. And together we will produce a new culture, and without at the expense to melt any one of us. We are still us as before, but we can contribute just as tomato. I just said tomato. Tomato is German. Sorry. Tomato and paprika, each one of the vegetables can contribute their own specific flavor to enrich the flavor of the whole salad. If the salad without tomato and it tastes not so delicious, if it lacks of paprika, it tastes not so delicious. So each part of the society, each ethnic group contribute their own very valuable specific character to the totality, to the whole society. That's the metaphor of the multicultural. And the melting pot is the old paradigm, assimilation. One society must assimilate all the newcomers to make them as the same as the originally people, originally lived there. So, but the salad bowl is a very wonderful and desirable vision. But is it doable practicable? That's the question. And that's the question about how. And our agenda in education and social development. So, how the schooling, how the classroom, how the teaching activity should be combined, conceptualized, and so on with the idea of multiculturalism. I need to know what's your findings, what's your opinions. So I suggest that this group should add more content about the multiculturalism in their paper. And I'm very interested in the discrimination and in the change in educational system and in the teacher. And apropos, by the way, is this the right expression? I remember it is, or we should use our internet. I remember it is. This one.适性扬才，not 适性适才。And I have attended to the forum in National Chinese University to join Professor Zhang Yingkun and all the other scholars and Professor Zhang's students. They all have the practice and the research in the preschool childhood and preschool education. And we have discussed many problems around the education, and Professor Song Wenli had very seriously criticized the concept. He said we don't need such an old-fashioned concept such as 适性扬才. It is nothing to do with the 9-year or 12-year. It is a very old-fashioned concept, just as 有教无类 and so on, and 因材施教 and so on. They are nothing new in the 4 characters, and not specific to do with why should we make it 12 years long and instead of 9 years, and so on. Why should we technically or nominally have no examination? We don't have entrance examination now, and someone had already asked me, is there the regular situation, dimension, application around the world that no entrance examination into high school? Is it universal? I would like to say no. In Europe, because they are usually the school from, for example, in Germany, when you 10 years old, you must decide which kind of school you want to attend. And you must listen to what your parents said, what your teachers said, and how the information tells you. And you choose one of the 3 forms of school. Gymnasium, Realschule, Hauptschule. It means that one of them is the most basic learning, and after it you should enter in the vocational educational system and to practice and to get a job as soon as possible and to use what you learn, what your technique in the job market. The first one. And the second one is that you may learn more than the first one, but not so difficult, not so complicated. And it gives you the opportunity to enter the job market as soon as possible, but also give you the opportunity to learn more if you want to, and to go to a technical university, technical college, and so on. It's the second kind of school. And the third one, the so-called gymnasium, is a very, very old type in Europe. It means you must learn, for example, 1 century ago, when you are a gymnasium student in Germany, you must learn Greek and Latin at the same time. Now it is not necessary. You must learn all the highest level of human knowledge. And 1 century ago, the training in the German gymnasium was not comparable to today's high school, no matter which country is concerned. So nowadays, the gymnasium in Germany teach not so old-fashioned and not so much, but still the much more than the other 2 kinds. So when you want to enter the universities, you should choose gymnasium. When you are 10, you should choose to enter the gymnasium if you want to become the 30% of your generation. We have 100% university students of your age. And in Germany, they have just 30% of the same age group to enter university. And when you enter the university, you would realize that it is time to start not as in East Asia. You work very hard in high school in order to enter university. But in Germany, you just prepare your scores, your data, and to apply for a university. And you may be accepted by several universities, and you choose one of them. They are all the same. They are all of the same qualification. They are all of the same national financing status and so on. So it is not a problem which one you choose, not as in Taiwan. But when you enter university, you know the difficulty is now, because if you cannot pass the examination, you should quit and say goodbye, farewell to university, and to back into the job market. But everyone has the chance, has the opportunity, has the right to try if she or he are strong enough to be a university student. Each one has the right to try. Maybe she or he failed, but it means nothing. It just means you are not suitable for the complicated knowledge game. You are suitable for maybe much more practicable game in job market. Maybe you would find your own success not in university. It is not for you, and another world is outside for you. But each one can try it and say farewell. And maybe 3 years later, when you walked and you realize that something must be learned, and you enter the university again, but without the earlier confusion, but with a very clear mind to know what you want to learn. So my professor, my Dr. Fatih, has asked me several years ago when I teach at National Pingtung University of Education, and I came back to Germany to enjoy a dinner and a conversation, red wine and beer with him, and we discussed how are you going and so on. And he asked me, and I told him that I am now a teacher, a professor at a university. And he asked me one question: why are your students coming to you in your classroom, to study your course? Why? For what purpose? And I always could answer any difficult questions of him at once. But this time I must think of maybe 10 seconds or 20 seconds to answer the question. It is not an academic question, but it is much more difficult than it. And I told him that in Taiwan, this question is not raised to ask the students, but raised by anyone to ask the teachers. Do you know what I mean? Should I ask one of you, why are you here? What do you want to learn? What have you known about education? What have you known about social development? Why are you here? Could you tell me what's your purpose? What do you want to learn? Tell me and I teach you. What just do you want? what just you need. I told my professor, that's not the case in Germany. Our students are so educated not to ask themselves, but just wait for answer. Because each professor, each university would give you so many answers to tell you, come here, this course give you blah 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 blah, come here, this course give you blah blah blah, and come here, this university give you blah 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 blah. And no one would consider that the question, the purpose of attending a course, of entering a classroom, the question should be answered by students. Nobody will think of it in their own. It is very interesting phenomenon. When we talk about we should put the learner, put the students at the center of teaching, not the teacher at the center, then I think I should encourage you. That's my part. I should try to encourage you as much as possible. I should try to encourage you and to give you as much as possible to make you willing to answer such question, not necessarily to me, but maybe to yourself. Why are you in the university? Okay, 10 minutes pause. Okay, one after another present your part, your idea. Okay.
Our team is the presentation topic is the supporting in the multicultural regions and case in study in the immigrants in Taiwan. And our team to divide in this presentation into 5 parts. And in my part, I was meaning, and this is and I was mainly responsible for the introduction of the section and of the current status of the foreign spouses in Taiwan and their language or cultural difference that cause their children's educational environment in Taiwan to face some problems and the other part of mine is responsible for the collecting statistical data, and this data is more from 台湾的主计处 and 教育部，还有一些
Okay, no problem. We all understand.
主计处、教育部还有一些移民署，对 and other government websites. And in order to limited members of foreign spouses, our group decided to collect data in 10 years. And this data is included the foreign spouses numbers and how many their children and how many their children to get into the school. And our team is more focused on the education, and we more focused on the Southeast Asia and the China's spouses. So, and because this data is more complicated, so I didn't finish this part. So this part is I collect some information and do a short part of the process.
Okay, second part.
In my class, I am responsible for whether the school education maintain or strengthen the disadvantage of new immigrant children or not. Now, education system seems to have some ability that it can catch the students. If you have higher ability, you can get great educational background. Then you will have a higher earning who have the high social class who can get more educational resources. But now, immigrant children come from a lower societal economic status, families, and students or classmates discriminate them. Let them become a disadvantaged group. School is a small society, and the school education cost class remain. The reason maintain or strengthen the disadvantage of new immigrant children: cultural representation, social reproduction, cultural dignity, cultural ration. The better invest new immigrant children in the school system. Educators, the policy of comprehensive education, cultural compatibility.
My part is talk about how family environment influence children of new inhabitants. Traditionally, people are stressed on men should be better than women at social states or economic states. Even the age of marriage, men should be older than women. And now our society is gradually opening, but people still follow the traditional way when they choose someone for the marriage. This phenomenon as a marriage gradient is that men should be paired down, while women should pair up. For these reasons, the lower middle class men in the country are often difficult to find suitable marriage partners. Therefore, looking outward for spouses is an easier selection. So the new inhabitants will be considered to is poor and uneducated and so on. When their children go into the school, the mothers have been to Taiwan for many years. Their understanding of Taiwanese culture and education is limited. Furthermore, most of them are married into working class families. Their socio-economic state were more relative disadvantage. And I list some situations of the family. They may have low level of education and poor physical and mental condition, poor economic conditions. Networking is narrow and poor relations. And they have different cultural customs and maladaptive, difficult language communication. And because of those situations, their children into the school, they will have some problems, like school life adjustment problems, low academic achievement, lack of proper discipline in the home, become school and socially marginalized people. And that's what I do now.
Before the conclusion, we also have one project from our neighbor, Lashi is not coming. So we skip to conclusion. So from
Moment. You have 4 parts.
she's not going to say so.
Why?
We don't know.
Is she going to write it or not? Right? I mean, when you are 4 and you organize your parts, and when you are 5, you organize your parts. But if she do not want to write her part, and you will miss one part in your whole structure, and would cause some imbalance. You know what I mean? And if she are willing to write it, but she is ill or something else, and that's no problem. But if she does not want to write it, you should organize your structure over again to meet the 4 parts. The 4 parts structure is different from a 5 parts structure. So please tell me at first, what's your 4th part and to your conclusion, and I can comment your structure, and I can give you suggestions when you are 4 parts or 5 parts. And what your topic in your 4th part?
Solution from government or NGO.
Solution from NGO
And government.
and government. Please, going on to your 5th part, and then I will comment all the structure and all the details.
Those topics we have mentioned, we can know that the foreign brides, especially from China or Southeast Asia, and their children become one of the big social issues in Taiwan. No matter in culture or in education system. As we can see, it has many factors like stereotypes from local people, language and culture different, and their husband status. All of this makes them to become more disadvantaged in this society. And at the same time, their children will recopulate, and the family's educational function is limited. So that makes their children into marginalized group in school or learning. And the government also have taken some action to deal with it, but since it's not worked very well, so we think it is inevitable and urgent issue that we need to face. And if the government or the society ignore it, it may become a serious problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I am very glad that we have two discussions around the issue multiculturalism, and two different issues, and it is very interesting to combine them in our teaching and learning in this course. For example, here, you know what your two groups are very interestingly, you can learn from each other. From this part, I have told you that you must give me much more information around how the situation, how multiculturalism, how ethnic group are to do with learning culture. Okay, multiculturalism is not just a learning culture, but how to deal with the many various variety of cultures in Taiwan. You must deal with the issue. And don't be afraid of the burden. Oh, it's too much. So we cannot afford so much burdens. And don't worry, it is not. I do not mean that you have to make many steps to read and learn new information. You don't have to do that, because many of what I am asking for is what you have already known. You have already known the situation. You have already known that multiculturalism is to do with the variety of cultures and about the problematic of migration. You have already known, but you should write something, write some more sentences to your project to make the multiculturalism teaching much more sensible. Not just the learning cultures, but not just the respecting cultures, but in what context? In such Taiwanese multiculturalistic context. So that's you can learn from this group. They have tell us, we have heard before the situation in Taiwan, the disadvantage in Taiwan, and the problem in Taiwan. We have heard of it. Okay, that's what you can learn from this group. And on the other side, you can learn from the other group, because what you tell me, I do not realize how far you would like to deal in the topic schooling. There are 2 days schooling in your paper. Schooling is your topic, but you describe all the situation. You describe and the family background, the not heard solution and so on. But only the second part of you is schooling maintain, strengthen the disadvantages or not. This part is a very essential problem to your topic, schooling. but you may focus as the other group a little more on the issue of teaching and learning, and how is teaching and learning towards the direction of maintaining and strengthening, and or towards the other direction of correcting the disadvantages, and how is it possible, or who had said what. For example, because you don't have much time, you don't have the opportunity to ask many school teachers to tell you how they teach to avoid such maintenance. You don't have the time, but you have the time to Google, to understand what the ministry said, what the professor said, what some suggestions said, and what can be done to avoid the maintenance of disadvantage. You can tell us, okay, in the just 2 weeks, you can make it. If you have enough time, and if you want to make a project by the Ministry of Science and Technology, you know what I mean? If you want to write a project by the Ministry of Science and Technology, and you have enough time to make your interviews, to ask the family members, to ask the teachers, how is the schooling, maintain or not to maintain the disadvantages. It would be very interesting and very doable and very important on the local, at the local level and at the national level. I think if you want to make it, it would be very interesting project, and you should try to apply for the ministry project. And for now, you don't have the time, so you can make this as your, for the other group as well. Make your short English presentation as one pilot study. What does pilot means? Pilot is the captain of a plane, but he's not just captain, he is the leader to lead the others. This way, follow me, this way, and you can fly very safely, and so on. It's the pilot. So, pilot study means I have a large research project, but I don't quietly know every details. I don't quietly certain how should I formulate my questions. So at first, I make a small research, a small interview, a small questionnaire. For example, I ask my students at the social psychology, what do you think about the concept 小确幸? And it is not a very standard survey. It is just a part of my pilot study. It cannot be applied to explain the situation in Taiwan, but it gives me some clue to formulate my larger project. So you are here to present your thinkings, your efforts in reading, and you have presented very well, and you have got very usable stuff. And I think you should treat your presentation in this course as a pilot study of you itself is not perfect, of course. Itself is not very well structured, of course. But if you are willing to, if you want to, you can correct it, you can enlarge it, you can change it, and into a very doable project. I think that is not just for this group, but for all the other groups. And sometimes I forgot to tell you this, so I am very glad that now I remember in commenting the presentation to remind you, you can make your presentation in this course much more doable and more at much more longer length, and you can make it a doable project. Okay, so the problem is here we need more about the situation, more about the ethnic relationship, and to tell us and how the multiculturalism is taught. And the multicultural subject, it is a very interesting idea. So we are subject, philosophically speaking, we are subject. But what is a multicultural subject? And here, maybe multicultural subject is very clearly demonstrated here. In this situation, we have the multicultural subject, and they face the disadvantages. And we must find solution around and in schooling. Otherwise, you should change your title. But schooling is very essential to here. Education and social development. We can discuss here, not in the context of education. We can discuss, okay, the newly immigrated women and their children face disadvantages, and it should be solved this way and this way and this way. And this kind of paper is not about education, although it may mention education, but it is just what it want to solve. It is not the essential part. So if we are going to write a paper in education and social development, schooling must be emphasized. So I think there are many possibilities to reorganize it. And I don't know in 5 parts or in 4 parts we would like to go into. So when it is as usual the 5 parts, and I think you should combine these two and make this here. And family, NGO, government, all actors around school. And you may join school here. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And school at the center, and family, government, NGO around school. So here is school, here is school. The second part and the third part, 2 parts of 5 concerning schooling. So make the emphasis schooling as your center point. And solution combined with conclusion, only some possible solution, only some possible suggestions. You are not so obliged to give the final, the total solutions. You are not going to make the final policy suggestions. You may just offer some suggestions so it can be combined with conclusions. And the other way is to combine these two one. The current situation. After a very, very short introduction and immediately to tell us the current situation is about how the disadvantages come. So the first part is how the problem is be discussed. And the third, schooling. And the fourth, the around it. And the fifth, the solution and conclusion. It's the moment. Or the first, the second, and also the third. Here, two parts of schooling, or one part. I don't know if you are going to make it in 4 or in 5. So, if you are going to make it in 5, schooling 1 and schooling 2. Schooling 1 dealing with the teaching practice. How should the teachers do? And schooling 2, how should the students be encouraged? Okay, you can put it at 2 parts or just 1 part. It's another way. And there are many, many other ways. We should discuss it just after 12 o'clock, and you can just ask me in Chinese. Okay. And there are many kinds of combination. But no matter how you restructure it, remember to put schooling at least 2 parts of 4 or of 5 at least. So back to the multiculturalism, you have 3 parts. And the second part is very, very similar to this part. There are some problems, and we should make change. So I think maybe the description of the situation can be emphasized at this part, and the change maybe can put into the third part. I mean, the first, the multicultural subject. And why? Because the current situation. And second, multiculturalism discriminated. Why? And the vision of multiculturalism. Vision means we are looking forward and we want to be that way. Vision. And the third, in practice, how to change the system or the teaching and so on. Maybe if you can enrich what I have asked for, that about the current situation, about the vision, and you know what I mean by vision. And we wish that we could be that way. We wish we could be a startup board. It's the vision what multiculturalism has given to us. Okay. And I think, so we have the one lecture group next week, or two. One or two? Two, okay. Two groups next week. And please prepare your presentation as what I asked for. Each person presents her or his part. And altogether, you have a structure. And structure gives you the group score, and you have your individual score. So if you put your structure very well, you have a very high score and your group score. And if you write your part very, very successfully, and you have your high personal individual score, it's separated. Okay. But remember to work together to make your team score higher, so high as possible, I would like to say. Okay. Any questions? No? And next, so we have moment. After the class, the one who were late come to me and to erase your absence record. And another question. Okay. Today is so next week, the 29th December, two groups. And so the two teams. Your final version should please submit it to me at 12th January, right? Am I right? Okay. And at the 5th January, I can give you something in video or something we haven't have enough time to discuss it. So in next week we have two teams to present, and the week after next we have some. I have planned to. I said here discussion, and I will offer some interesting materials for us. And the final presentation, final version, you don't have to present it again, you just print it and give it to me. And also to send it as an electric version to the platform. Okay. Okay, any question? No? Okay. Very, very unusual. We close today's course. 是单方向的